Why do we feel fear?
Like increases like. Whatever experience we undergo, whatever feeling or sensation we undergo within ourselves, we project that experience outward. Human being is that amazing medium, is that amazing generator, um, due to its very complex nervous system, very profoundly complex nervous system. We literally are walking reflectors of various layers and levels of energy. So, whenever we experience something, we inevitably generate that experience and project it outwardly. Let's say when we experience happiness, which comes from the environment, I'm talking about now from the global picture, then we will talk about it from the individual, physiological level. When we experience, let's say, a very happy event, whatever, on a family level, on a collective level, in a group, some nice fun party, music, something which basically makes our heart dance with joy. That experience then is projected outward into environment. It is projected there and then while we undergo that experience. And it is then, because it's accumulated within ourselves, it left an impression, is still being projected outward. The next day we go and we're like, guess what? Had a fantastic time yesterday. And you project that experience outward. In the same way, we generate negative experiences when we are subjected to fear. For instance, when you are bombarded on a daily basis with all these negative events that happen in the world, negative news, whenever you watch all these films, whenever you watch all this entertainment which has fear at its basis as an experience, you literally become the provider of that energy. You accumulate that energy within and you project that energy outward. So it's a catch-22 really. And we've been doing that for God knows how long by now. We've been doing that, and in a way, the humanity now almost lives between these polarities of negative and positive. Some say, some philosophers, thinkers, what have you, even say that that is an inevitable part of being human being. Well, I believe that some teachers, some beings disagree with that. Some teachers project an entirely new perspective and vision for humanity, and many people are embracing it now. Then we create our world as we go along with it. Every day we create something for ourselves to experience by virtue of projecting that which is already here. So I'll repeat again, like increases like. Whatever you expose yourself to, you become the projector of that. You become the reflector of that. From the individual perspective, from the physiological perspective, all these experiences are being picked at a different level of human physiology. The gross experiences are associated with lower energy centers, where the energy rotates at a slower frequency. And obviously, the more elevated experiences, finer experiences, belong to the domain of the higher energy wheels, higher energy centers. When we experience fear, anger, greed, jealousy, hatred, and all those emotions, we usually experience them at a lower strata of our physiology. And we experience it on a level of a gut, where it feels literally our physiology shrinks. It becomes sort of subjected to these emotions simultaneously with us experiencing the negative states of mind, because there is direct correlation on a cognitive level. Whatever takes a place on a level of physiology is being picked at the level of the cortexes and then reflect back to physiology through the production of the hormones. Excuse me. Likewise, when we experience elated states, when we experience finer feelings like love, compassion, and being one with the environment, with those near to us, with those far from us, when we experience all these very fine states of consciousness, we experience them at the higher levels. We literally allow ourselves to go to the higher registers of human physiology. That in turn is immediately projected and recognized at the cortex level and issues qualitatively different hormones back into our body. So that's what happens on the physiological level in a very kind of a simplistic way. So I would say that fear does not exist outside of our perception of it. There's nothing that like we can call fear out there. Okay, we can say that fear has been projected and inherited by us on an instinctual level from those evolutionary stages when we were animals, and we do have that reptilian responses, fight or flight, or fight, flight, or freeze syndromes. But that is something else. There is also an element of fear which protects us from harmful environment, but that is a very different quality of fear. That fear is literally associated to the survival of the species and is primarily relates to the safety of our organisms. It has nothing to do with generated fear, which we have perpetually been rotating through our media and through ourselves, and by artificially magnifying it to the, cosmic proportions. There's no need for that, because really, whenever we experience lower sensations, we shut ourselves from experiencing finer ones. So we need to give this conscious choice. We need to give this conscious recognition. What do we want to give ourselves to? Do we want to become the vehicles for negative emotions and feelings and thoughts? Or do we want to promote peace, happiness, and evolution throughout the world? It's very simple. Once the decision is made, we consciously follow that decision. We consciously avoid to become the receptacles of the negative emotions where fear is present. And we open ourselves more towards the sensations and feelings which elate us, elevate us from the state which we became willingly or unwillingly succumbed to. That's how I see it.